Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream, or I should say nearly every day. This is Star Nations Academy that I'm broadcasting from, and it's kind of cloudy and overcast and actually a little cold. And today of all days is Tuesday, April 30th, the last day of the month. I know. Went by really fast, didn't it? It certainly did. So this live stream is all about the divination card that I draw in the morning. And the intention is to see what energy is flowing that's important for us to know about today, that will help us with our soul growth, right? And so that is the base of the conversation. But it also sparks this really spiritual conversation in the chat room. And that is so much fun. And actually, that's why I enjoy, one of the reasons I really enjoy doing this live stream. So welcome. And what I'm going to do before we actually get rolling is that I'm going to take my phone, I'm going to like and share the live stream. And I invite you to do the same. It helps us to be in the newsfeed a little bit more often. And so those souls, those people who are searching, for spiritual information or perhaps even a spiritual community, that it's easier to find us. Because, there's so much information that comes across in social media, isn't there? And so it's really easy for a post to get buried. And I don't know if you've ever done that. I have, to go back and look for something that I read or saw, and I can't find it. And so for us to be in the newsfeed just a little bit more often is very helpful. So here I am. I'm liking and I'm sharing. I'm posting it to well, my phone is that little icon thing is spinning, so it must be thanking my phone. All right, we'll try that again. We're going to go to my news feed. There we go. And we're going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And I'm going to invite them. I'm going to ask them to please join us. There we go. There we go. Just want to make sure I'm putting it where I said I was going to put it. There. Perfect. That'll do. Do you know where that comes from? That'll do. Years ago, Paul and I, we went to a dog training trial. It was just fun, something to do. It was near where we were living at the time. And they were herding dogs. And the breed, like collies and Australian shepherds and that sort of thing, right? Herding dogs. And so we learned a lot that day. There's certain commands. And one of the commands is "that will do." And that means we're all done, come on in, because they're usually out in the field and they're herding sheep or something like that. And so their master, their owner, will tell them that'll do, and that means they're done. And so that's where that phrase comes from. That'll do. Yeah, so Paul and I pick that up and we use it every so often. That'll do. So a little trivia there. And we have a couple people in the chat that are really good trivia players. I've learned this along the way with them. One of them happens to be Julie Shumway Hill, and she's in the chat. Hello, Julie. Good to have you here. And Julie is really good at trivia. If I get stumped on something and I can't, it's there and I can't bring it out of the memory banks, I'll say, Julie, give me a hand. What is that? And she usually has the answer. So, like I said, today is kind of cloudy and overcast. It's been kind of drizzly. It's not really, it's a little bit more than just a sprinkle, but it's not quite raining. So it's kind of in between. And it's at least above freezing, so it's like in the lower 30s. I think our high today was supposed to be like 43 or 44. So at least it's not snowy, rainy, freezing rain. And I have to share with you, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures I had on my news feed, my personal page, but we had some pictures of George, our 9-month-old puppy. He had his first day in the brand new daycare that just opened up for public use yesterday, and we've been kind of can't wait. Poor George, is kind of like having cabin fever because he wants to play with other dogs. And so, yeah, so we took him yesterday. He was there for a full day. He came home, played out. Now I know what they mean by played out, because he walked in the back door, saw me, kind of wagged his tail half-heartedly, came over, sat next to me, and pretty soon he's laying on the floor with his head on my foot. He walked right by his food dish, which had a snack in it for him, and he was too tired to eat. He slept from, I don't know, probably around 5 o'clock until 7, got up, ate something, played a little bit, and went back to sleep. And he slept through the night. That's the first time he slept through the night in quite a long time. So, yeah, and there's pictures of him with other four-leggeds, and they also have a short video clip on their page, and it shows George roughhousing with one of the other dogs, and so, yeah, he's he had a good time yesterday. Hey, Rob, he's saying, I've played rugby. I understand the term. Yes. And in fact, he's not even with me today. I left him home. He was upstairs sleeping, and I had to call him downstairs. He sat at the top of the stairs just kind of staring at me, and I said, would you like to stay home and sleep? He turned around and went back into the bedroom. And so I just left him a snack, and so he's home, sleeping. He's too tired to come to work. Can you believe that? Too funny. He's a good boy. Yeah. All right. So today the card draw, very interesting card draw today. I think we're going to be all about the inner child again today. Because yesterday we had, no, was it yesterday or was it the day before? I think it was the day before. South Shield was about the inner child, right? Yep. Well, it's back. So I'm just looking at my phone to see who's in the chat just watching. Stephanie's here with us. Hello, Stephanie. Christina's here too. Christina, I just saw your email message. Yahoo, 1,200 words. Yay. Yeah, I can take a look at it after the live stream is done. And Rochelle just joined us too. Hello, Rochelle. Okay, so we're just going to start the cards. And before I get started, I'm just going to show everybody. Whoops, I always do that upside down. This is the cards that we continue to use. The Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. Copyrighted 1990. And so what we're finding is that the information is still really good, but I'm finding that we really have to kind of expand some of the meaning of it, because we're in a completely different energy field than what was around us in 1990. And so, yeah, and it's, I think it's good practice for us, really, because we are leaning on our intuition, right? And really using our intuitive skills, I think, which is good. Rochelle's here. She says, I'm waiting for the doctor to schedule a full left knee replacement. We'll let you know when it's scheduled. Talk later. Okay. All right. Well, if you need it done, you need it done, right? Yeah. There again, therapy. The therapy part is crucial if you're going to have full range of motion with that knee after the surgery. Yeah. Hi, Stephanie. She says, been trying to make Facebook do its job. The share function has been finicky for a few days. Really? I hear that there's some changes coming up with Facebook. I'll see if I can find the link for that and share it with you. There's some changes that they're going to be making, so maybe that's behind it. Who knows? Who knows? that elusive creature we call Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So the first card that came today is a fun card, and it's Pow-Wow, right? And it's all about sharing. It's all about sharing. That is some headdress. I have to say, seeing it live in person at a powwow, it takes your breath away. It's like you can't not look at it. Right? It's really a very powerful headdress. Yeah. And those are all feathers. Powwow dancing. Look at that. Sharing and quickening. And here's the poem for powwow. Jamie Sams. She writes, gathering of teepees, new friends and old, trading of stories told and retold. A blanket for a basket, a horse as a prize, foot races and dances till night till sunrise. Exchanging the goodness that each member brings, allowing the heartstrings of our nation to sing. And really, back in the day, when I was a kid, I used to do competition powwow dancing and just local stuff, mostly just in the state. I wasn't exactly on the powwow circuit per se. And it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. I still do. It is the gathering of the people. In the old days, it really was that's what it meant, was of your people. Your clan, your nation, your tribe, right? In modern day powwows, it's still the gathering of the people, but there's all kinds of people. There, almost everybody, every walk of life, shows up at a powwow, and it really is fun. It's fun to sit and speak, and have a conversation with some people. Of course, dancing. I normally don't even wait. If there's nobody to go out there and dance with me, I go out and dance anyway. I take my shawl and I dance. And for me, there's nothing more fun and bringing of joy is to dance to some really good powwow music at a powwow. Yeah. And and they range, from everything from, more like I don't know, informal to everything to a formal powwow. And so it's fun. It's fun. For me, it really brings out my inner child. Because my inner child, I learned how to dance Native American dancing when I was 5 years old. And actually, it's probably sooner than that, because I had my first real pain gig when I was 5, and dancing in front of an audience. And so for me, it brings a smile. It brings happy memories. The outfits that were my favorite drum, the singers around that drum. It brings back really good memories. And so that inner child, my inner child, is all, it's yay, let's go to a powwow. And yes, it's all about dancing and the drumming for me, but there's other things there too. There's lots of good food. Certain food vendors people know really well because they have really good fry bread, or they make really good chili, or things like that. Yeah. And of course, there is ceremony with it as well. Powwows are usually more social in nature, right? But there's still some ceremonies that occur at a powwow because it is meant that ceremony is meant to be very public. Okay. Such as naming ceremonies, or giving of a feather, an eagle feather, those kind of ceremonies. And sometimes it's welcoming home somebody that's been gone for a while. Those that are in the military, they come home. There's usually a ceremony for them. Sometimes it's to recognize somebody, to recognize their accomplishments. For those graduating from high school or college, a lot of times their family will pay one of the drums to do a special song and dedicate it to that person, right? Those kinds of things. So it's happy times, happy times. You get to see people that you haven't seen in a long time. Sometimes friends, sometimes relatives, cousins and such that you don't get to see very often. You get to meet new friends, that sort of thing. And there's always kids. There's always children running around. You can hear the laughter. You can hear the laughter. And sometimes what I do, it sounds kind of strange, but sometimes what I do is I sit very still and I close my eyes, or I have my sunglasses on and I close my eyes and I just listen. I listen to the sounds of the powwow. You can hear lots of people talking, and almost to the point where it's kind of like a low hum. All right. And then you can hear the different drums, because usually there's more than one drum. And you can hear the other drums, the drummers talking, because they're on a break and they can't leave their drum unattended. That's disrespectful to the spirit of the drum. And so they have somebody who will sit with the drum, and they have to kind of rotate that so everybody gets a break. Other times, of course, you have the kids and their laughter, and you can hear people bartering and that sort of thing. And you can hear the different tribal accents. Yes, I said tribal accents. Just like we have different accents in different regions of the United States, in Indian country, there's also different accents in different regions of native indigenous people all over Turtle Island, and even just within your own state sometimes. And so to sit and listen to the different inflections, and to me that is so much fun, and it's kind of like coming home for me. And so a powwow, if you've never been to a powwow, my suggestion is to go and just to experience it. And a lot of people get kind of nervous about it. I don't know what to do, don't know the etiquette. That's okay. It's all right. Because you know what? A good MC will lead the non-native people, or the people who've never been to a powwow. They'll explain all kinds of stuff. Before something, an event happens, they'll explain it. And a good MC will teach you along the way. Yeah. Hey, Amy Daniels is here. Hello, Amy. Good afternoon. I hope you're feeling better. And Rob is saying the late, great Canadian pianist Glenn Gould did works late in his life demonstrating the counterpoint inheritance in multiple conversations. He did. Well, I tell you what, like I said, if you've never been to a powwow, that you certainly can hear all kinds of conversations happening when you're just quiet and just listening. Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Powwows. And powwows are meant to share. You're sharing your gifts with others in public. So for instance, if you're a drummer and a singer, you're sharing your gift there. If you love to dance, you're sharing your gift there. If you're a beadwork artist and you have a vendor table, you're sharing your gifts there. So, and if you love to cook and you have a food court vendor, then of course you're sharing your gifts. So it really is a place to share. And sharing information. There's always an educational piece to it. At least now that in modern time there is. When I was a kid, that wasn't so much like that. And you had the flip side of it too, and back in the day, people could drink at the powwow grounds and that kind of thing, and so it wasn't always a pleasant thing, right? You just kind of steered away from that. But today, they're in almost 90%, 98 point. Oh my gosh, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law. I'm into what she wants. Anyway, today there's almost every nation prohibits alcohol and drugs on powwow grounds. Well, actually, in many of them don't allow it, like on the reservation period. Yeah, a lot of them don't. So anyway, the times of the powwow, it's about sharing. And to tell you the truth, because of my experience, it also brings out the inner child. Who doesn't like going to get some fry bread? Not me. Or to have, Paul and I will sometimes split an Indian taco, which is really taco stuff over fry bread rather than a corn tortilla, right? Yeah. And so really it has a lot to, for me, has a lot to do with my inner child. And there's Pat. Hello, Pat. Good to have you here, Pat. This is the first card. It's about powwow and sharing. And they also have the word quickening there too. And really the quickening part is about using your gifts and sharing your gifts. When you first start out going to powwows, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know you were supposed to take your own chairs, your camp chairs. You didn't know that you could bring a blanket to sit on. And so, after your first one, you get kind of, you're watching other people and what their gifts are and what they're sharing. And so you understand, okay, I can do that. And then you might put your own twist to things too, because a lot of people, I was just thinking about different dance arenas where they have powwows. The one closest to us is Black River Falls, which is the Ho-Chunk Nation. And it's in, that place is really nice to dance at because their dance grounds is grass. It's real soil and grass, and so there's a lot of give to it. There's places like was it 2 weekends ago in Madison was the annual spring powwow at the MATC, the Technical College, and it's indoors. And so you're dancing on concrete. Oh my God, that's so hard on the legs. It's still fun, but oh my God, it's so hard on the legs. And so you get to know the different dance arenas. Yeah. Yeah. So the quickening is about sharing your gifts. And Jamie Sams writes about the powwow as a place to share and to celebrate life. In the summer season, starting like around mid-May, end of May, especially in the northern states, is when the powwow season starts. And it runs until, probably the first weekend or two into October. But and let me tell you, there are dancers and drummers that's their career. Yeah. They follow what's called the Pow-Wow circuit. And so they dance for prize money. And so that's their career. And when you see the really fully beaded outfits and especially with the guys, and, they're called bustles, the feathers that they wear on their back, most of the time those are eagle feathers. Sometimes they're turkey feathers that are decorated out like the fancy dancers. Um, their outfits are in the thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars. Their dance outfits are yeah, the cost of their dance outfits. And so for many people that follow the powwow circuit, that's their lifestyle. That's what they do a good portion of the year, 6 to 9 months out of the year. Yeah. And what do they do the other times? They might have part-time jobs, but what they're doing is they're repairing their outfits or they're creating new outfits for the next powwow season. Yeah. You can tell how much I like powwows. All right, so Jamie Sams writes that since powwows also gathered the best of all the tribes to mark the strength of a nation in days long gone, so does the idea of the powwow teach us how to gather the best of our energies and talents today. So we can use the powwow as a metaphor for our life and how you live your life, right? Yeah. How do you allocate your gifts? Where do you use them at? How do you use them? Do you share them? Or do you hold it close to your chest and you really don't let many people see it or experience it, right? Yeah, so we can use the powwow as a metaphor. How often do you let your inner child out to play? Yeah, we talk about it, and I think we have a good sense of what it would be like. Um, but how many of us really do it? How many of us really get out there and play? I was watching that short film, a short video that the puppy daycare took yesterday of George playing with one of the other dogs. And let me tell you, they put everything of themselves into that play. And it's no wonder why he's so tired today and last night. Um, but when was the last time we actually did that? Right? Um, when we put our whole being into the act of playing. When was the last time we did that? And it's in those times that we lose track of time, don't we? It's like we're so immersed into it. The next time we look, I mean, we might be doing something at, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning. And the next time we look up, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What happened to the last, 3 hours? That went by so fast. Yeah. When was the last time you really put yourself into your play like you did when you were a kid? Yeah. Kind of reminds me of community theater. Community theater. Those individuals who volunteer to be in their community plays, right? And I know that they work very hard at getting their role and memorizing their lines and the staging and all of that. I know that it takes time and it takes effort, but they also put themselves into their character at least a good try at 100%, right? And those people who design and make the backdrops, the set design, that's what that kind of reminds me of. When was the last time you really put yourself, your whole being into your play in whatever it is that you're playing with or about? Yeah. Even if it's just coloring. And my mom was just talking about that this afternoon, right after lunch. She goes, "Do you know much about adult coloring?" And I said, "Actually, I did a show on it 3 years ago." I said, I know a fair amount about it." And she said, "That is something new." And I said, "Well, it's new for the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, something like that." I said, that it's a time for that adults can actually take a break and do something creative where they don't have to design their own image that they're going to color, but they have this image already printed for them, but they can play with what they're coloring with and the colors that they're going to use, right? Yeah. It's another good question. How many of you guys out there that's in the live audience, how many of you have used an adult coloring book or even a children's coloring book for that matter recently? Because there's all kinds out there. Anything that you can think of that might be enjoyable to color is out there. A lot of nature and floral coloring books, architecture coloring books. Yeah. Julie's saying, "I love to color printed images and draw my own." Yeah. Yeah. And that's another layer of creativity, right? Another layer of play. What I was striving for there is to that we're out that we're not completely in our mental mind. Yeah. That we can actually just kind of relax that part of us, which leads to another question. How many of us even remember, even know what it's like to really relax? And I know for me, it's been a few years, not days, not weeks, not months, but it's been a few years to really relax. Yeah. We talked about a little bit about that the other day, didn't we? That that if you're not busy doing something, that you're not productive. And that's kind of a belief system around the upper Midwest or Midwest at least, right? That even when it's supposed to be playtime and relaxation time, to really let go and just be for a few minutes or a few hours, that we that are that we start complicating it, adding this or that or redesigning it, or that we tend to put a lot more of our mental mind into it. Yeah. All right. We got some. Let's see. Stephanie says, "Sometimes every time I sit down to edit, I color first." Oh, so you free up that part of your. It's kind of like a transition point, huh? Maria is saying, "Just did this weekend because of your show last week." Oh my goodness. Well, that's great. That's great. And Pat says, "I color frequently." I was trying to explain that to my mom is, because she's of the generation that coloring only children color. It's like, no, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of adults who have taken up coloring. I have a few books too laying around the house, mostly floral stuff. And Julie says, "I even have our coloring book app." You do? Yeah, I'd like to try that probably on my iPad. Not so much my phone, but on my iPad. Yeah. I haven't done that though. Yeah. There's that addiction thing too, though, with me, right? I know certain things that I can only do in small amounts because otherwise it takes over my entire life. And then the next time you turn around, it's like, oh my God, I've got so much work to do. Well, why? Is because I just spent the last day doing something. What was the last time I did that? Let me think. Because sometimes the reading can do that. I'm trying to think of. Well, the last time was because we were designing where we were going to put up the fencing for George in the backyard to keep him out of the gardens, basically. And Paul was more about function, and I wanted it to look good. All right, so Jamie Sams, this is what she says about when we draw this card. She says, if the talking drums have signaled a powwow, you are being put on notice to gather together with others of like mind and exchange ideas. The quickening of some aspect of your life will be aided if you use a support system and see what type of support you can call upon from others. The powwow card is making a time of calling in your markers. You may need assistance or just a friend to be a sounding board. Your focus will become clearer and you may receive the boost you need just from an encouraging word or two. The quickening is inside of you and speaks of the time just preceding birth. Whatever you are giving birth to at this time can be assisted by gathering your friends around you for the needed support. So if you are starting something new in that creation mode, right? And it's kind of fun, I think anyway. I think it's kind of fun that that this card came up today. Why? Well, today is April 30th. Tomorrow's May 1st. Tomorrow is Bieltana. It's one of the major rituals for pagans, for the Celts, for the old Irish. Bieltana. The word looks like it should be pronounced Beltane, but it's not. It's Bieltana. And it's one of the fire ceremonies. But what happens is that in the ancients, what they would do is they would celebrate or recognize the importance of that ritual the night before, not the day of, but the night before. So it's kind of nice that, today we can actually talk about it a bit, but we're using the powwow card to do that. It's the gathering of people for sharing. And so is Bieltana. It's a good time to start something new. New beginnings. It's about creativity and fertility. It's about creation. Yeah. It doesn't happen very often that I get to actually be with you guys on a holiday I call it a holiday. It's not really. That's kind of downplaying it. It really is it's a good word, sacred rite. It's a sacred ritual. Yeah. And the Celts, what they do is they use the cross quarters on the wheel, right? Medicine wheel, Native American medicine wheel would call that the cross winds. Yeah. Bieltana. That we can tap into that energy that is already here, right? And think about it as the metaphor like we did with the Pow-Wow, right? Are you starting something new? Are you in the creative mode? Yeah, Bealtaina. It's also the time of the, how do I want to say this? It's the time of year where the old Irish and the Celts, that you could choose your sexual partner, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be the person that you're with all the time. And it has to do with starting some, starting a new project or creating something new, right? And it was also a time, and this is pre Catholic, before the church came into Ireland, or into the pagans, that their belief around the respect that they had for their bodies was different than what Christianity says. That they were claiming their right as their sacred right of being human. Yeah. And so that part of their life was not taboo. It wasn't, thought of as a sin or shameful or anything like that. No. It was a different time and a different set of beliefs, right? All that from Pow-Wow. So tonight, when my show is on at 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern time, we're going to be doing the guided meditation, the Unity Breath. So if you're going to join me for that, this is what I would suggest: is do just a little bit of preparation. You don't have to do a lot, just a little bit. Is to have in your mind and in your heart, is there something that you would like to begin or to create? Because this is also the energy of spring, right? That creation, new beginnings. So if you have something in your life that you want to start new, a new beginning, to create something new, bring that with you in your mind and in your heart tonight, because we're going to be raising our vibrations to the vibration of love. And that is the best time to create, to manifest. Because when we're in our hearts, we're in a unified field. It's a higher vibration. And because it's a unified field, we don't have the polarity or the duality. We don't have if-then kind of stuff going on. Yeah. Because when we create from our minds, because our minds are very powerful, but when you bring it into balance with your heart, it's 10 times that. So when we create from the energy of love, what happens is that you don't have the polar opposite of it doesn't exist. And so you can't have the negative aspect of whatever you're creating to sneak up on you and say boo, because it's not there. It doesn't exist. And so tonight would be a really good time to be able to, even if you want to write it down, that's okay, or just to have it in your mind and in your heart. And if you can, light a candle, if you can. So when we do the meditation tonight, we're going to be good to go. Which reminds me, because Rochelle didn't do this for us. Usually she does. She shares with us that she's grounded, right? But if you haven't done your grounding today, that would be a good time just to pause and just to do your grounding, so that you're prepared for all the good things that Bealtaina can bring to you tonight and tomorrow. So Rob is sharing something here. He says that Lorena McKinnick's tribute to Bealtaina. That's really good. I've been listening to Pandora and the Celtic Women station. That was the first place I'd actually heard Lorena, and her voice and her music. It's really, really good. All right, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing all the posts about what we're doing and where we're doing it in Star Nations. Oh my God. Every time I see those posts, I think, no, yep, we're really busy. Okay, I don't think I missed anybody else. So when you get a chance to be able to allow your inner child some time, a space to really come out and play, that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing. Is to set aside the adulting you for a moment, right? And notice what it would be like to put your entire being into that play. Yeah, that'd be so much fun, right? Rob is saying my morning meditation is part of the grounding ritual. Yay! Good for you, Rob. Thank you for sharing that, because that is really the best way to do this, is to connect it with something that you're already doing, because the chances of you doing the meditation or the grounding goes up. The probability goes up when you pair it with something that you're already doing. So, yeah. If you want it to be protected and grounded all day, you would do it in the morning before you start your day. And then at the end of the day, as you climb into bed, and be the last thing that you do for the day, right? That's the best time. You said 8 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. So 7 o'clock our time, Bonnie. 7 o'clock Central time. Yeah. We have a whole lot of people here out of Michigan on the East Coast. And so, yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Julie says the new dates for Polly Joe's class. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Polly Joe, she's been pretty sick, right? And she's doing better. And she's getting her strength back. And yeah. But she was supposed to be here this weekend teaching. Well, that wasn't going to happen. And so what we ended up doing was rescheduling, not canceling it, but rescheduling it. And so we rescheduled to June 14th through the 16th. And the name of her class is Awaken Your True Potential. And it's a healing kind of weekend, really. And so if you enjoy Polly Joe's meditations and the healing work that happens there, you'll like this weekend, June 14th through the 16th. It's one of those times where you can honestly say life-changing. Life-changing. Yeah. You get to do the kind of healing that she does in person. It's huge. And Rob is saying, I improvise on Amantha's meditation she teaches in her class. Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, there's so many really good ones out there. There really are. And my suggestion is to pick one that a grounding meditation and also protection meditation that feels good to you. Because if it feels good to you, you're going to remember to do it. Again, the probability jumps up that you're going to do it. But there's so many out there. And once you kind of get the hang of it and know what it feels like to be grounded, where you feel it in your physical body, that sort of thing, then you can start, as Rob says, improvise. You can take what you really like from this one meditation and maybe take a little something from a different meditation, and you can craft your own. You can craft your own. Yeah. It's good. Good work. All right. So the second card that came is the South Shield. And the South Shield is about innocence and the inner child. Innocence and the inner child. And here's the poem. South Shield. Red earth, South Shield, child filled with wonder, teach me to yield. Laughter is your giveaway, in innocence and joy, tricking me into the place of little girls and boys. So the South Shield is J.B. Sam's way of saying the spirit of the South or medicine of the South in the direction. Okay. And so for that direction, it's like the noonday sun. Yeah. It's about our childhood. The color red. And cedar is found in this part of the wheel. For those who understand the more Sioux or Lakota, the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota way of living by the wheel, things are a bit different on the East Coast, but it's not hugely different. So it's about the innocence of a child. And we all have it. We all have it. Sometimes we think we don't, right? Because we've had so much life experience as an adult. And some of those experiences have been very challenging, very difficult, very painful. And so many times we begin to believe that we've lost our innocence. And that's not true, because we still have that aspect of us called the inner child. It's a part of us. It's not separate from us. It's a part of it. It's a part of us that makes us whole. And the inner child still has our innocence. That part of us is still there. Now, it's a possibility that it's covered up with a lot of debris. It's a possibility that your inner child doesn't feel safe and so stays quietly in the background, you know? And so that's where all of our healing work can reside. You know, healing those traumas, right? Those emotional and mental traumas. So that part of us that we call the inner child feels safe. It's that part of us feels safe to come out and play. That inner child and that innocence is also a huge part of our intuition about our emotions. Yeah. So sometimes we have to be our own adult parent and take care of our that aspect of us called the inner child, right? So that they can come out and play. All right. So Jamie says about the South Shield. She says that here. I'm trying to find the sentence here. Okay, so understanding the third path to the South Shield is through being who you are and understanding the beauty of that original essence. You need not alter the innocence and childlike precociousness for anyone. It is a gift for others to see that reflection so that they may drop the masks of their fear and see that they also hold that beauty in their inner child. Through knowing the child within, you will restore faith in life and capture the wonder of being alive. The South Shield card marks a time of returning to the childlike parts of ourself that need no support from the ego. Look at how you can be humble in that present situation. Balance work with play and sacredness with irreverence. In other words, you'll need to lighten up and drop the uptight parts of the self before you can continue. This may be a time to get some physical exercise in to loosen up tight muscles, or to laugh to loosen up your sophisticated garbage. Stop holding on so tight and remember how to trust. How could you trust anything or anyone when the image in the mirror is not really you? That's a good statement. In all cases, the South Shield card insists that the child within is trying to teach you something about how to handle a situation. Listening and trusting that little tyke might restore some of the lost magic of life. Remember, playfulness heals the world of woes. The more serious you take the game, the less chance any of us have of winning. Very interesting. I want to mark that page. So here we go. We're going to look at these both together, okay? And see what you can sense, feel, or see for yourself. This is all about our inner child, about sharing our gifts. Planning a play date called a Pow-Wow, or maybe a Bieltana gathering. Yeah. I like the wolf on the card. That canine. Yeah. So whatever that meant for you, when I talk about, if it resonated with you, that means if it felt good. And it doesn't mean that the whole thing has to feel good. It could mean that there was words or phrases that kind of jumped out at you that kind of said, look at me, And so whatever parts resonated with you is to embrace them. And then just to notice how the energy unfolds around you today and where this information, the information that resonated with you, where it's helpful or insightful for you. And that's either in the direct participation of something, or maybe you're bearing witness to someone else or for someone else. And I always say it doesn't matter, because it's good either way, because we're learning something. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. That's all right. Maybe you already have a good relationship with your inner child. And as Paul would say, my inner child runs the joint when he's home, right? And so, maybe tomorrow's cards are going to be more for you. It's okay. So tonight, if you can join me, that would be great. 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern, for Communications from Home. We're going to be doing the Unity Breath meditation. I'll be guiding you through that. And like I said, my suggestion is for you to bring with you in your mind and in your heart something that you want to begin new, tapping into the energies of spring, and the the energies of Bealtaina, right? Yeah. So I'll have a candle lit. I will probably do the little smudging before we get started, and we'll do the meditation together. Okay, raising our vibration to the vibration of love. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and we're doing a replay for Polly Joe's 7 p.m. Eastern show. The meditation is good no matter when you go through the meditation. Okay, it's up to you on whether you want to listen to the card draw information, because that's all recorded too. So we'll get that posted probably late afternoon for you. The recorded show. On Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, is Spiritual Mysteries of Life with Connie Shearwater. And so she's one of our elders. I'll be producing her show, so I'll be there. I have to be there. I want to be there. Yeah. And thank you, Julie Shumway, for reminding me about Polly Joe's class, the rescheduled time frame. But we also have another class coming up, and that is tarot, total immersion into tarot. It is taught by Julie Hedges, and that's the weekend of May 31st through June 2nd here at Star Nations. It's a physical class, and it's a hands-on class. In other words, bring your deck of tarot cards, because you're going to be able to be honing your skills or learning about it so that you can actually start doing your own readings. Okay? So yeah. If you have any questions about that class, you can go to our starnations.org and just click on the Academy button and just scroll down. It's not too far from the top. Okay? All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the daily live stream and group card draw. All right? Okay. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.